Hey, let's see, can you guys hear me? Is anybody here in the chat yet? Welcome, Conla, Bullets Eye, Skinny Seahorse. You guys hear me alright? Getting started slightly late today, just been really busy. Let's see where we're picking up with this project. Alright, so we messed around with this a couple weeks ago on the stream. I need to keep my progress moving forward a little better. And let me just verify things look okay. Here. That looks alright. Nobody wants to chat anything. Does that come through? I don't see it, but let's assume it does. Alright. Cool. There, it came through chatty at least. That's good. Alright, so where we left off with this, let's run it. See what we got. It runs. Alright, we've got register and login links. We've got a link for archived videos. Archived videos requires you to log in. And apparently that doesn't work, so let's register with it. I don't remember what I use. Hopefully, no, probably not. Alright, and register. Alright, now we're registered. Cool. And now videos works. Okay, I seem to recall that's what we did last time, was we added authentication. And you're saying you only see a black screen. Static screen. Alright. Why when I went to Twitch TV a second ago did I see my stuff? You should be seeing a browser and thank you for letting me know. I see my live screen. That's better. Maybe it's just delayed a while. Because I did have a black coming soon screen when I first started, but that was like 5 minutes ago. What do you see right now on the screen? ASPNET from the UK, what do you got? Anybody? What do you see? What do you see? Hey, Peter Kellner. Welcome. Alright, nobody wants to chat? Bandwidth problems. I wonder if I can adjust that. Maybe I'm streaming at too high of a bitrate right now. Let me see. So let's look at that, because I've been adjusting that. And right now, I am streaming at... Well, I've got incoming stuff coming in too. That's just because I've got Twitch open. So let me close Twitch down. Alright, that should help. And still, OBS is sending at 750,000 bytes a second. Let me see if I adjust that down a little bit, if it doesn't hurt the stream too much. So we'll make this 4500. Apply. Okay. Does that take effect immediately, or do I have to restart? didn't seem to do anything. I probably have to restart. Alright. Well, those of you that are bandwidth challenged, I apologize. I'm going to leave it like where it is. No, it's going down. Yeah, okay, OBS is showing me it's going down to 4,500. Alright, so it is working. You see the DevBetter screen and me. Excellent. That's what you should see. Alright, so maybe that helps the bandwidth for some people. Alright, so the next thing that we want to do is look at our GitHub issues for this project and say that you must be an active member to view videos, and currently you just have to be registered to view videos. We want to update that to be an active member. So we got the first step, which was you have to register. Alright, so then how would we lock this down further? So viewing videos is a page, archive videos, with an index, and it looks like this. And I'm testing, here's what I was testing last time. This is what I remember hung me up. I was trying to see why the role of administrator was different here versus on the page itself. Shouldn't Twitch be taking care of that for you? What, the streaming? Well, they can only work with what I send them. As far as whether or not they downsample it for different clients, I'm not sure how that works. They do more of that based on what level of Twitch broadcaster you are, and I'm still noob, so they don't do as much for me as they would for someone better. Alright, so my issue that I was having when we last looked at this is that in here I was checking if the user was admin at test.com. I would create that role if it needed to be created, and I would add the user to that role. And then when I was looking at it on the page, it was not showing up there. Alright, so if I register in as admin at test.com, that should work. To verify this, though, I think what I want to do, you're the best, I'll tell them, thanks. I think what I need to do is put this into a SQL Server database instead of just using in-memory, because then I can look at what's in the tables and actually have some idea of what's going on. So in here, somewhere is this database name, use in memory. Here's my SQL Server option. We're going to use that instead of, I can keep that semicolon, and instead of that, and I don't really need the DB name anymore, I don't think. Alright, so here, just make that all visible here, we're going to use a SQL Server database, so we'll build that, and this will let us look at that database. And the other thing I need is to make sure I've got a database connection string, which I do. Going to clean architecture, probably want to name that something different. Let's call it DevBetter Web. And that's the default connection, and then this other one is MS SQL. That's weird that those are different. We should both go to the same database. And we'll name them similarly. So this is DevBetter Web dot identity, and I don't know why I need two databases right now, but let's see. Start up using both of those. That's using default. I don't see the other one being used at all, so I'm not sure the other one's even being used. I suspect not. Alright, so now in configure, I'm going to use the database error page, which is usually useless, but it might help me in this case with setting up the migrations that I need. It's handy for that sometimes. Alright, so now when we run this, the first time it tries to do anything with the database, it should pop up that database error page. So log out, register, admin at test.com. And what's going on here? It just worked. Maybe I already created the database and I forgot? That could be. Sure. Alright, well if that's the case, let's go find it. So in here, We can view our Database Explorer, Server Explorer. If I can find it, there's too many windows. SQL Server Object Explorer, there we go. And I said I want localhost, SQL local DB, database, DevBetter web should be in here somewhere, and it's not. There's my project, nothing there. Alright, so what did I do wrong? I said in here, configure services, cookies, database, use SQL Server default connection. That should work. Default connection it should get from app settings. It should say local DB, SQL local DB, that. But that's what I'm using for my AppDB context. Where do I tie that into identity? Because identity is the only thing that's using register, and I don't configure identity here. I configure identity probably in its own area here, and it has its own identity DB context here, and it has its own startup here, and this is where I need to do it. Add entity stores this, there we go. Boom, that's what I missed. So it needs the same thing, and it wants an identity DB context connection. There we go. Now if it builds correctly, should be good. Alright, so now we'll do the same test, and it blows up. And it blows up because, I don't know, it just died. Okay. We will debug. Yeah, it's the downside to using two connection strings. It's easy to miss one of them. Alright, so login failed. Can I open database? DevBetter web identity. Blah blah blah. I don't have that database yet. That's why I was going to have you create it for me with your migrations. Login failed for user me. Alright, well, DevBetter web identity. I guess we'll just create it and then see if migrations work. So come over here. Is it going to let me create one of these? Add new database, DevBetter web identity. Go for it. Try again. Now you're probably going to tell me you can't find the table that you need. This is why we use in-memory database, so you don't have to worry about all this junk. Invalid object name, ASPNET. Yeah, I know. I know. I was hoping that the middleware for this guy, the ASPNET database error page, that's supposed to pop up and say, hey, do you want to apply migrations? And then I can say, yes, I would like to apply migrations. But it's not working. So instead, we're going to go out to the internet and do it manually. So out on eShop on web project, in the root, I have the scripts that I need for migrations, like this. And I can say create migrations for that, and we'll just tweak this to be what I need. So there's that, and it says, hey, we should do this from where? From the web CLI, from the web folder. Okay, so we're going to go here, and we're going to go to the web folder, which is here, and we're going to create a new console. So we want to open, there it is, open folder, and then we'll just open up PowerShell, and it looks like that. Alright, and then let's open up Notepad. right click and put our command in there and verify what these are going to look like. So we're going to do all that first part's the same, so that's fine. Our context is, if this is for the main thing, our context in this is appdb context. So this is just appdb context, and then where is it? It's in // in this case it's going to be devbetterweb.infrastructure. So here's my folder structure. It's going to go to devbetterweb.infrastructure / devbetterweb.infrastructure csproj. So that becomes that, and then web, well, it's not web, is it? It's devbetter.web, devbetterweb.web. So that, and then we're going to output to data migrations. So I'm expecting when I run this that in infrastructure there will be a data migrations folder, and it's not there yet. So we're going to copy all this, go out to here, paste that in, cross our fingers. It's very fast. There it goes, and done. Look, it worked. So theoretically here we've got migrations, there they are, perfect. Alright, but that's only part of the deal. That's the appdb context, and that was pretty easy because I don't actually have any objects yet to speak of. I think I have a to-do object. So we need to do the exact same thing now for the other one, which is identity. And in my case, identity is not in that project, so that's both easier and harder. I think that identity DB context, I think I'll just create it with the defaults. So here this becomes identity DB context, but I don't need to specify the project because it's the current project, and I don't need to specify -s. I don't think I need that either. And then the output can be in areas identity, let's say. Let's see if this works. Areas identity data migrations. Not sure that's going to quite work, but we'll give it a shot. Okay, so that looks like it worked. Let's see what we have here. There it is. Even put it in the right place. Its initial model has ASPNET roles and users and stuff. All right. And in my migration, in its initial model, has archive videos and to-do items. Okay, cool. So I did create archive videos last time. Okay, so now let's run these things. So now, to run the migrations, I think I have that here too, don't I? Up here. So .NET database update. With that, we'll throw these back into our notepad and modify them to suit this project. They're going to look awfully similar. Alright. Okay, catalog context. Anywhere I see that, I want that to be appdb. And anywhere I see anything else, I want it to be prefixed with devbetter.web. So infrastructure becomes that, and that, and that. And then over here, this is just identity DB context, and it's not in a different place. So I don't need to specify a separate project for any of that. It's just that. All right, I think that is correct. So copy this one first. And here's the whole thing if anyone cares. Put that out of the way. I'll paste this in here. worked. Alright, let's try the other one for identity. That seems to have worked as well. Let's go back to Visual Studio, and we should see in here, if we refresh this, DevBetter Web App, DevBetter Web Identity. Perfect. App has archived videos. Currently it's not going to have any data because I didn't seed it with anything. And the other one, likewise, won't have anything in it yet. But my goal here is to be able to see essentially my ASPNET user roles table. I want to know that my putting someone in a role thing is actually working. So nothing there yet. Okay, so now let's run the application again. And I have a rule in my code that said if I register as admin at test.com, which we're going to redo now. We'll use that. Now we're registered, and we go to videos, and it says I'm not an admin, but I think if that worked correctly, I think I should have that row there. So we're going to come in here, we're going to look at what roles do we have. We have an administrator's role with a GUID right there. So I'm going to copy, I'm going to try and copy, come on. Copy that over into Notepad. That's the admin role, ending with 1CF. Alright, and we're going to look at users. And the user is this one, and we're going to copy that and paste that over here, and that is admin at test.com user. Alright, so that ASPNET user roles has nothing in it. Now why does that not have the data in it? It must be that I didn't call some save method or something that I'm forgetting. So in here, I said, if the user is this guy, and then I'm going to create that role, that worked. Then I get this user, that worked. I'm going to say, add the user to this role, and that didn't work. So let's debug this. I'm still logged in. I click on videos, comes in here, right, and we jump over a few things. It didn't have to create it because it knows it's already there. So if a user is not in that role, we're going to come in here, we're going to get the user, got the user. User is this person. User's not null. Claim principal, identity, claims identity, admin at test.com. Okay. Right. So when I go to this next line, that should have done something. And over here it tells me what it tried to do. And I see lots of selects. I don't see any insert. Select user role from ASPNET user roles where user is already in role administrator. Okay, nice. That's good to know. User is already in role administrators. Perfect. So it thinks it did it. Which means when I stop this, actually when I finish running this, go back to the browser. Why is that false? That's what stymied me last time. Right, we wouldn't have come into this thing if this weren't true. So apparently user.isEnroll That's the problem, is users isn't role doesn't work. So I'm Googling for this. So this looks, here we go. So here seems to be my problem. ASPNET Core 2.1 identity doesn't load roles. User is role is always false. Access is denied. Have no role claims. Right. Blowdart closed this thing a while ago. And Blowdart says that they don't create the roles by default. If you use add default identity, no user role store gets created. Da 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 da. If you so I have to do something to add the roles. New 2.1 syntax apparently says I need to do that. Did I not do that? I thought I added roles. I got a role manager, that surely works. Add the DB context, add identity. Maybe I didn't add the role support here, is that the problem? Add default identity, add roles, add stores. By using this, you cannot define a policy for roles, like add authorization policy. You always get false for has administrator role. If instead you use this, everything works. You need to replace user claim principal factory with one that's role aware. Yeah, that's true. Alright, so it looks like I'm basically hitting, I don't know if they're bugs per se, but they're issues in the framework that are known by other people. If you want to use roles, go back to the old add identity, user, and role. And they are saying, hey, let's just use claims instead. So maybe the issue is I shouldn't be using roles so much as I should be using claims, which is fair. But let's get this working with roles, and then we can always refactor it to use claims later if we want. So there's application user, there's identity role. All right, I'm doing what he says. It says if you want to use roles, go back to that. Tell me where I'm not doing that. I've got add identity, application user, identity role, adding framework stores of the right thing, default UI, default token. I'm doing all that. But then I add this claims principal factory that also knows about roles. Why does it look like I'm doing all the things I'm supposed to be doing, but it's still not working? When you add certain identity aspects, you have to log out and log back in before they act. Okay, that's fair. But look, if I go and view the data on this, it didn't store anything. Oh wait, no it did. Alright, it just didn't refresh. Alright, maybe you're right. ASPNET, we'll try that. So I wouldn't think that's the problem, but let's give it a shot. I gotta find my browser. There we go. So you think maybe if I log out and actually start the web server again, I can then log out, log in, sure, remember me, go to videos. Whoa, look at that. Alright. So we're good. Alright, so at that point, thank you. I didn't think that you would have to do that, but maybe it was storing in the cookie or something. I don't know. In any case, it was not refreshing that the way it should have been. So that's cool. We're going to call that progress. And I'm going to do a quick commit because we've got working code. We've got new migrations that I haven't committed yet. So let's add that. In the authorization branch, that sounds good. What all have I changed? Just migration stuff. So adding migrations and using SQL Server, commit, push. Okay. Yay. Alright, so now I want to make it so only admins can get to this page. Do I have that working yet? I don't think so. Because I can get here, I am an admin, but if I log out and I register as user at test.com and I'll call it default, that's what I was using. Register, sure. Go to videos, and I'm not an admin for real this time, but they got access to this. So I want to lock down this page so that that doesn't happen. And initially, I'm happy to just do role-based locking down, which I will do in, could do it here. I don't think there's an authorized filter that works here. I think you still have to do that in startup for Razor pages. So Razor pages are a little bit different when it comes to applying authentication. So I'm searching for the Razor page authorization filter. I know when they first came out, you had to do everything in startup. And I think that is still true, but they have these. So here's the initial way you had to do it, where you'd go in and say add Razor page options and specify these conventions. And then they added support for the authorized filter. It says can be applied to the model class. And so with that I should be able to do role based, right? Okay, so if I can do that with role-based, that'll be great. So we'll go here, make sure I get the right thing, which is basically going to be that. And if I put that on the page here, the docs are telling me that should work. Except I used administrators. That's not what I want. Alright, that's better. I'm not sure what I did accidentally there. It's probably going to bite me. Everything worked. Let's test it out. And it's in a different browser this time, but that's fine. So if I register, I don't need to register. I've got a real database now. So if I use default at test.com, and look at that, it redirected me to the home page, or no, that's what it should do. Alright, go to videos, and now it redirects me to the login. Okay, good. But if I log in as admin, that should let me in, right? Log in. I'm in as admin. Maybe it's not showing me as admin now, is it? It should say welcome back admin. Why is that not working? It's not working. Right, that's expected. So log in, log in. Now it's not letting me log in at all. Let's go back to my other browser instance. Here, log out, log in. Shouldn't matter which browser I'm using, but it works here, so that's interesting. Access denied, that's better. Log in. I don't know why my other Chrome instance is being weird. Now I'm admin. Now I have access. Okay, so it works. Just adding that filter did what it was supposed to do. I'm not sure why Chrome was being weird from that other browser, but we'll chalk that up to something else. Alright, so with that, I'm going to do a quick commit. And at that point, only administrators have access. Now eventually I'd like for that to also include members, but members aren't a thing yet, but I can still do that there for now. And that should still work. So stage, allow members access, commit, push, and now we're going to go out to GitHub here, this one, and this is number 16, so we're going to do a pull request that fixes 16. So here's all my commits. Here's the last one I just did, and add auth to project fixes number 16. Create that pull request. Do a quick review since some of this was stuff I did 2 weeks ago. Let's see if I'm not doing anything too crazy. So here's all the files. We're adding the migration files, which is fine to put in source. In the web, we're also adding migrations there. Modified this to use SQL Server. Here's what I accidentally screwed up in here. When I did control dot, it added something, didn't it? Maybe? Oh no, maybe this is all stuff I wanted to add. So that's okay. This all looks good. Alright, so we're going to allow this to go through. Squash and merge. Boom. Okay, so now we can delete that branch. And that means locally I want to go back to master. I need to shut down my web server before it'll let me do that. Still not letting me do that. Are you implementing role-based? Yes, I'm implementing role-based authorization, that's correct. I'll probably switch over to claims at some point, but roles is really all I need right now, so that's what I was trying to start with. Alright, so conflict, stash that. Alright, something is holding on to one of my folders and preventing me from getting my Git to be back the way I want. But I don't see what's doing that. So we'll just go down here and see if we can do it from here. That works fine. Alright. Fancy Git client, why are you not working? Alright, so good. Now it's happy. Alright, so then let's look at what our next thing is we want to do. So we'll go back to our issues. Must be an administrator to add or edit videos. Okay, well so far what do we have in the way of data for a video? Yes, to all. Let's go ahead and shut down some of these tabs we don't need anymore. Alright, so looking at this project, we have this notion of an archive video that has a title and a URL. So we just want to create a simple form or API where if you are an administrator, you can add those things. So on here, we've already used scaffolding to create these things. So there's our scaffold for create, delete, etc. Haven't actually done any of those yet. Let's see if that works. So now that we did migrations and we created our database, I should be able to create some of these. And right now I don't have it locked down, but that'll be the next thing that I do. So I'm in admin, I can get the videos, I can say create new, I could say this is the March 1st, 2019 video. Hopefully date created will get set for me. No, of course not. Create. Alright, so that works, and I can edit this and change things. And that works, and I can probably delete it. Okay, so my scaffolding works fine. So my issue is adding and editing, and let's also say deleting, requires you to be an administrator, not necessarily just a member. And currently you have to be an administrator to get to the whole thing at all, but we'll change that soon. So we already saw that to make it so you had to be an administrator just required this. So if I put that on edit, delete, and create pages, that's already there. Interesting. Interesting. I did that last time, I guess. Alright. And then delete needs the same thing. And edit will need the same thing. And we're going to need the namespace for authorize. For that. And then also for delete. Here. Like that. And why are you not finding constants? I had that somewhere. It's right there. Cleanarchitecture.web. That's probably not the right namespace. So this is now here. There we go. While we're here, let's add members. Okay. Volume is too low. I'm sorry. Let me see if I can boost that. Thanks for letting me know. Mic is cranked up. Is it this one? No, it should be this mic here. It is. That's a good mic. And let me see if I can adjust it anywhere here. Recording. Everything's cranked up to 100% on my end. Alright, here's my mic settings. And OBS has the mic settings up, so I'm sorry if it's quiet. It should be pretty good. But not that that's necessarily helpful. Did I change anything? Did it fix it at all? that probably doesn't even need to be there anymore. Negative. Negative it's not quiet, or negative it's still quiet? I don't know if you're responding to my comment or my audio question. That's on me for asking the question 2 different ways. I'm guessing you're saying it's still quiet. In which case, I can bring the mic closer. Talk to it like this. Does that help? Still quiet. Let's try some more settings here. Properties. No. Advanced audio properties. There's advanced audio properties. Balance. No. Desktop. Logitech. Mic. That's 100. Nothing there. Nothing there I should change. Let me try picking a different mic. So properties. Let's use this headset mic. We'll say OK. Does that sound any different or better? Now it should be using this boom mic. So it's a $10 mic instead of a $300 mic. That's better. And it was better when I got close to the mic. Alright. Well, we'll stick with the boom mic for now, instead of the fancy Rode Podcaster. Okay. So I don't think I need this thing in here anymore anyway, so I'm going to comment that out. That was just adding a role that I needed. Ideally, I should be adding those roles when I do migrations, because those are basically just seed data that I want to have. Great, now you guys can hear me. Alright, sorry it was quiet before. Now I'm probably blasting you. Alright. Distracting me from what I'm trying to do. So, back to the task at hand, which is to lock down access to edit, delete, and create. And while we're at it, we'll make index be just members. So that roles equals constants.members. Const.roles.members. There we go. Okay. Right now nobody is in the members role, so that's going to be a challenge. Constants, come on. It's in this. Oh no, it's not. There we go. Okay. Now your volume is back down. Yay. Okay. That all worked. So the challenge though is that I don't have anybody in members. I don't even have a members role, so we gotta create that. So we'll come in here and we'll do it with this little task thing. Eventually I'll put it in a seed method in migrations, but we're not quite there yet. Constants.roles.members. Bring in the right namespace. Theoretically, when I start the app, that'll hit that thing and it'll do it, and it'll add that role. And now we have a database we can check to verify that. I'm looking at the output here and I see it does a select from ASPNET roles. I don't see where it did the insert though, so I'm not sure that worked as yet, but let's check it. So we come over here, SQL Object Explorer, look at ASP.NET roles, so view data, and it worked. So there's members. Okay, so nobody is in that role yet, so I need to have a user go into that role before I can really test it. At some point I'll build some UI for managing membership and roles and things like that, but we're not there yet. For now, do I have any seed data? Not for that, just archive videos. Okay. For now we'll cheat and we'll go over here and do something similar And we'll say, well, if the user's name is member, yeah, there ought to be, there was an add-in for ASP.NET MVC and for web forms that would let you do user management, like user role management. You just added it into your project and it was reusable and you could use it across different projects. I don't know of something like that for ASP.NET Core. Someone's probably built it by now. It's probably like a NuGet package or something you could just add. And that would be nice. The manage stuff might do some of that. I haven't played with that in a while. But for now, I'm just going to be expedient and use a convention and say if you're in member, we don't need to create the role because it's already there. We don't need to create that role either. Alright, so if you're not in the role of members, but your name is member@test.com, then we're going to grab you and throw you in that. With a caveat that you have to log out and back in before that's going to work. Alright, so that's all good. So we'll run it. And we'll register a new person called member. We'll close some tabs. Alright, so we'll log out and we'll register. And now we're going to be member@test.com. Now we're in there. Sure. Go to videos. I don't have access to videos because I haven't logged out and back in. That's not actually going to run my code yet, is it? That's a problem. Okay, so the issue now is that this code never runs because this code prevents it. But we're going to fix that by just doing this. Get rid of that for now so I can run it the first time. And we're going to go to videos. And I have to restart the app. Alright, now we're going to go to videos. Now that works. Now I should be in the role. So now I can log out. And then I can go restart the app again in a second because we're going to do this. And lock it down again to only members. And now it doesn't work because I recommented something. That makes no sense. I literally just commented and recommented. What is your problem? Oh, I know what happened. It automatically got rid of the using statement for me. Being overly helpful. Alright. We're good. We're running. We're back in. We're going to log in. We should still have our account. member@test.com. Log into that. Get the videos. We're in. Sweet. Okay. We can also get rid of that as admin check while we're thinking of it. So on index, username and role, we don't need that anymore. Okay. I should branch to something else. What are we doing? Member stuff. So new branch. Ardalis member role. And since this seems to work, we can do a quick reading comments. Project is doing similar. All the users and policies are pulled from config.json files instead of hard-coded. Yeah, I need to eventually get to that. I tend to try not to bore people watching the stream, so I try and do things like a little fast, which is probably not the way to do it if you all are looking to see how I would code things for real. But I hate like going through stuff like slowly and deliberately when like when I do lots of conference talks, I'm trying to squeeze everything into an hour. When I'm streaming, it's like I got 2 hours to stream. I want to get through as much as I can. And unfortunately, I think that's probably not the best way for me to do things because I'm rushing and doing things kind of half measures. Alright, so let's do a commit here. We've got membership, let's see, member role required for create, update, actually that's not true, for view, for listing. Admin for write access. Commit, push, yes. Okay, so we've done that. Does that mean we're done with the thing? You have to be an administrator to add or edit videos. Yes. The trick is, the other thing that we have still, is even if you're not an administrator, this create new thing shows up. And I don't think that's a good thing, because I'm going to click on it and it's going to tell me I can't do it. Partially because I just shut down the web server. I think that the visibility of the links should also be tied to what role you're in. So let's implement that as well. So here we are. I'm just a member. I'm not an admin. I come into video and it says, hey, I can create new videos. But should I be able to? No. So why would I be displaying that to you if you don't have access to do it? So now let's go back to index, which is here. And here's my thing that does that. And there is a tag helper, as I recall, that will control access. I don't remember what it's called. Authorization, maybe? But there's an authorized tag helper, maybe? And you can say that if you're authorized to do it, so there's a policy, is there a role? There, role. So that's what I want. I want to have an ASP authorize, ASP role equals administrators to do this. And of course I don't know what that was called off the top of my head, but I know that I can Google for it and find it, and hopefully it'll work. So we'll save this, and theoretically I don't even have to restart the app. We can jump back here to the videos list. Yeah, that's not working. So let's restart the app. That's a built-in tag helper, I think. I don't think the editor of that blog post was doing it himself. It used to automatically restart the app for me. I think maybe I'll have to switch back to using IIS Express. That's still there. So that didn't work at all. Alright, so allows you to render things. Okay, this should work, shouldn't it? Do I need a policy? Is this required? This doesn't have an ASP policy. This just says authorize role. Only admin can see this, right? So why did mine not work? Okay, it's a custom tag helper. Thank you. I thought there was a built-in tag helper for this, though. GitHub, David Paquette, yeah. Did he put this stuff in a NuGet package? Do y'all know? Tag helper samples doesn't sound like a good NuGet package name. Oh, there it is. Tag helper samples bootstrap. Alright. Then add that. Okay. Maybe that's all I need. I really just want the authorized tag helper, and it's right there. So cool. Let's add that, and then add that. So I need that in view imports. Let's do that first, even though it's kind of out of order. So in view imports, I need this, and in the page, in the web project, manage NuGet packages. Yeah, I thought that would have been a built-in one. That's kind of an obvious one that the framework ought to have. There we go. Install. 6,000, 7,000 downloads. Geez, how much stuff does this thing pull in? Come on, Dave. Restore complete. Alright. Where are you indented? Take helper samples.authorization should be Karsten says. Isn't that what I have? Did I pull in the wrong thing from NuGet? Tag helper samples dot. That's what I got. Maybe I'm seeing your comment late. Okay. Let's run this. There we go. We're still a member. Go to videos, and it's not there. Woohoo! Plugging in other people's code for the win. Alright. That's going to be worth me giving him a quick shout out on Twitter. Nope, that's not him. What's your Twitter ID, Dave Peckett? Is it D Peckett? No, 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 no. I cannot find you. Makes things harder. That's you. Okay. Dave underscore. Who puts underscores in their Twitter names, really? Boom. Okay, done. Now that worked, and so that's pretty much finishing up that issue, I think. So we must be administrator to add edit videos is number 15. We're going to say that's done with this next PR. So I'm going to finish committing this code. The other links, before I get too far along with that, if I actually viewed one of these things, what would it show me? Because it probably has links as well that I need to hide, so maybe we're not quite done. So let's log out, let's see what other links there are. If I'm an admin, and we log in, and we go to videos, and no, admins can't get there, what? Ew, that is true. I did make that change, didn't I? That was a small bug. Alright, so that's the question. I want to say admins or, I've run into this before, I want to say admins or members have access. And if I say roles equal, is it an or is it an and? I think it is an or. So let's, I think we're okay. It's a comma separated. So dollar string that. Can I do this inside of here? I think maybe I can. That work? That should work. Can you let me do that? Attributes are funny about what they'll let you get away with strings. It doesn't look like it's going to work. Alright, Karsten. Don't see. Okay, I think we're good there. What am I doing wrong here? Attribute argument must be a constant. Right, so I can't build the string. Which means the only way I'm going to get this string is if I hard code it, which I was trying to get around doing by having these constants, but fine. We'll do both of them for now. The other thing I could always do is say that all administrators must be members, and that would not be difficult, but let's see what this does. Alright, so the thing is, I want to see if an administrator can get to the list view for videos. We're going to log in as the admin, go to videos, great, but now I don't see create. Come on, Dave Paquette, your thing was supposed to let me do that. In here, I spoke too soon, I'm giving him kudos. That keeps wanting to indent, I don't know why, but fine, don't care about that. In here, where was it? In here. Oh, that won't work because it's administrators. That's my fault, naturally. Alright, so that's that. Run it again. It's going to work this time, I know it. Still an admin, come to videos, see the thing, create a video, call it something. Lots of good validation. Alright, so in here, that create new, that's the one I've already got control over, but this one, those should only show details. You shouldn't see edit, you shouldn't see delete. Ideally, you shouldn't see these pipe separators either, if you're just a member. So we want to take that same code that we just used here, copy that, and put it in here. Do I need a span? I think a span will do it. And make things easier, let's just put details first. Alright, so details will start it off, and then we'll span it here, put in that on our span, grab the end of that, put it down here, get rid of this one I created earlier. Alright, so now if you're an administrator, you also see edit and delete options. If you're a member, you'll only see details, theoretically. Now when you go to details, that's the other thing to check, is when I do see details, it's going to show edit, and surprisingly not delete, but let's clean that up as well. So on the details view, we'll also use a span. We're hoping that's going to work. And down here at the bottom, we'll do that. And that. Is that my only closing span? Hope so. Alright. And Dave already retweeted my tweet. Look at that. Alright. So build this. Constants can have, yeah, I could create a constant that is members and administrators, but that's like combinatorially that's going to get ugly after a while. For now, if I think that's the only two roles I'm going to have, I could just create that one constant, but I don't know, it just feels dirty. Alright, so in videos, as an admin, I can create, I can edit, right, but if I log out and I log back in as just a member, that, then I can go to videos, I can see the videos, I can see this lone pipe symbol that shouldn't be there. Where's details? Details was supposed to be there. I can get to details, right? Yep, I can get to it, but the menu didn't show up. So I screwed something up there. On index, I apparently deleted the link to details. How did I do that? Alright, well, we'll just add it back in. And where's this link here? That didn't go there. There was supposed to be a pipe right there. And then details. Moving stuff around, I messed it up. So this goes to details with an item ID with details without that, right? Dirtier than hard-coded strings. Yeah. Alright, if you want to try it, we'll look at that. It's fine. Let's go see hard-coded strings. Like, really, you want this? So that's not going to be a constant either. So, right? So now you're going to say, oh, well, just use hard-coded strings here. But like, what's the difference? So far, that hard-coded string I have only lives in one place. But there's that. Like, there's no way to do this as any dynamic combination of these, because then as soon as you do that, it's no longer constant. So I don't know. We could do that. We'll try that for now. I don't know that I like it any better, but we'll give it a shot. There, happier? Alright. I think now we're good. As long as that details thing shows up. When I log in as a member, close some of these down. I'm a member, I come to videos, I see the video, I see details, I click details, I can see that, I can get back to the list. Hooray, everything works. When I'm an admin, the other links appear. So we're good. So we can commit all our changes over here. We'll stage everything. Hiding links from non-admin users, pretty much. Commit, push, pull request, compare, hiding links from non-admin users for create, edit, delete, fixes number 15. Great. Did I ever add builds for this thing? Automated build? I thought I did. Delete the branch. Come back out here. Get the latest. There we go. Yeah, Azure Pipeline is set up. So this should be building it for me. And if I look at builds, there should be a couple of them from today. Right, so there they are. They're still queued up. They haven't actually succeeded yet. One's from the pull request, one's from the merge. Okay. So they'll get done soon. Alright, so let's go back to our issue list. Nope. Here. Add a list of questions or transcripts. Okay, right. So on the website, I want to have questions that I can add. Let's see, you guys have any questions? You can still do a delete with direct URL. Well, that's good to point out. That could be a bug. So let's see. Refresh this. Who am I? A member? Yes. There's details. So you're saying if I do this, if I didn't lock that down, that I could kill that thing, right? No, I can't, because I added it to the server side. I didn't just get rid of the link, right? Let's review that just to make sure, because that's important. So on deletes, yes, sorry, here, delete still requires you to be an admin. Right, Karsten? Does that make sense? I'm pretty sure I'm good. If I do have an issue, let me know. Like this is preventing members from doing deletes. Need to authorize the other pages as well. What do you mean? We did that already. Did you guys miss it? So on create, I added admin only. And on delete, I added admin only. And on edit, I added admin only. And on details, I think random non-members might be able to get to details, so I should probably do a members one on that. So I think that's legit. Let's add that. Because currently I've only got it on index, not on the whole folder, to require at least membership. But we'll put this there. Right. Pull in that namespace. How do we chain the authorize attribute? You mean like to make it more and more restrictive, I'm assuming? So like you must be at least a member and then you must be an admin? You can chain it inside of a controller by going from class down to action. So I could come up to, say, home controller, and I could specify one thing here and then a different thing here, and they will chain, if that helps. So you'd have to be an administrator just to get to anything in here, and then you'd have to be a member as well in order to get to this. Okay, sorry. Probably still because my bit rate's high. You just need better internet, dude. It's that small little pipe going from Ohio over to the UK. Okay, OM Ganesh. This is one way you can chain them, is by applying the filter at different levels, one being class, one being action. You can also add them globally. With Razor pages, you also have a place that you can add conventions in startup.cs. So in startup.cs, under your MVC, here, oh, I did have a folder. Yeah, okay, but that's just authorizing, period. That's not role-based. So here you can specify authorization rules. In this case, I'm saying archived folders must be authorized, which just means not anonymous. You could be registered but not be in any roles, and this would still let you in here, right? So that's not really sufficient if I want to stop a registered user who isn't a member, which is what I want. And so in each one of these pages now, I'm adding on, in addition to being authorized, meaning you're not anonymous, you also must belong to a particular role. So to see details, I just added this requirement that you must be a member, for example. And that was already on index. Now this should really be members or admins, right? Because I need to make use of that nice new constant that somebody talked me into. And it's also why policies work better. Yes. Okay, I missed some of that. I spent too many hours in this. Made a custom authorized attribute and hearing from authorized with the roles defined. Differences there in the same space. Yeah, true. Policies work. Yeah, policies are better. Post an off-topic question. Where are you posting live coding videos for these DevBetter sessions? They're on my YouTube for me. So that's a good question. Where's my YouTube? Let's go over here and go U-boot. That's probably not good. YouTube.com channel, this one, switch account, that. So, wait, how do I get to my channel? My channel. Alright, so this is where they go. Twitch keeps them for a little while and then I post them up here. So I don't know, flow that into the chat. And I've got a link to this from somewhere, probably on my Ardalis site. I have two channels that I'm actively posting to, so there's this one, and then my podcast has a different one. So if I switch account back to Weekly Dev Tips, you can also look at this one. Wow, that looks the same, doesn't it? Sorry, that's wrong. I need to click the My Channel button. There we go. There we go. And so these are my podcast, but with visualizations. All right, so does that help? Hopefully. Okay, so where we stand now is I did have one small fix to details to make. That's not worth a whole pull request though. So let's go back to issues. We said we're going to do this list of questions. So basically, associated with a video, there's going to be a list of questions that we discussed during that video, and it's basically just free-form text. I could have, well, no, each question should have some metadata associated with it, like the timestamp on the video when it occurred. So if we look at an archive video, it will have a list of questions and timestamps. So we can create another entity called questions. DevBetter website sessions are not posted on it. No, those aren't. You must be a member. That's one of the reasons why people pay to be a member of DevBetter, because that's a private group. So yeah, once you sign up, then you get access to all of the archived videos from the DevBetter sessions. All right, so this questions class is going to basically just inherit from base entity, and in here it's going to have public string question text, I guess. And I should probably use prop shortcut. Somebody called me on that last time. Let's try that. Right, and the timestamp for this, should I just use an integer? I should probably just use an integer. Timestamp seconds. Alright, so that's where in the video this question was discussed. And then up here, I want to have a public list of questions. This should really be singular. And I'm going to want to turn this into a read-only property eventually, but for now this will suffice. Questions, get set, don't want to set, private set, we'll at least do that right. New list of question. Like that. Alright, now that needs a namespace, and this needs to go in a different file. Okay, so now question is its own thing in its own file. We should be able to build. We're going to have to add a migration for that. That's really all I care about is the question text and a timestamp, so that should be good. Let's find our notepad with my migration stuff. And this is that. So copy that. Do I still have this? I do. Okay, so but this one's not called initial model. So here's my text I had earlier on in this stream when I was creating my migrations, and this is going to be add questions will be the name of this one. So we'll copy this and we'll paste it. Oops. Paste that. And then I'm going to just do a database update as my next step. So as soon as this is done, we'll do the database update, which is this. Okay, so now if I still have any data in here, which I should, not this one, but in archive videos, if I get all the data, find an ID that works, like ID 2 is still there, right? Yeah. So I should be able to add, if I refresh these tables, I should be able to add some questions to it. So in app, in tables, in question now, I want to view the data, and I want to say archive video ID 2 has question text of where are the archived videos from DevBetter? And that happened at timestamp 30, let's say, and why is the sky blue? Happened at 400 and something. Alright, so now I've got some question data. Okay, so then what I would like is, on the public-facing page for a video, no, there is no public-facing page. I want to get a list of all the questions from all the videos. That'll be a challenge. That'll be interesting. I should probably just add a DB set of question. That'll be easiest. So we'll come out here, we'll add a new DB set of question. And obviously this is not a very TDD way to do it. But what I'm thinking I want is just a page that lists all the questions. And that's going to really just be off the home page. I have a home page now, so I need a questions page. That's what it should be. So add a new alright, let's go look at the chat for a second. So this session 2, I mean, DevBetter Twitch are going to, no, sorry. Everything here goes to YouTube. So after this is done, it goes on Twitch. If you're watching in Twitch right now, so if you click on archive or whatever for Ardalis in Twitch, you'll see last 30 days or whatever that they keep on Twitch. If you click on that first link I gave you up above, the YouTube channel that starts with capital UCK, ends with IUA, that one is where all the Twitch streams go, right? They're not private, they're public today, they're public later, they'll be on YouTube forever. So there's that. Now there are private DevBetter meetings that I was talking about, and that's what I'm building the website to support. So like right now, the private DevBetter stuff is just shared using a file share, not using this web app. But I want to build a simple web app that lets you, if you're a member, access the archived videos, and also if you're not a member, or either way, see what was discussed, see what questions were discussed. And so that's the next feature I'm building right now, is to be able to see that list of questions. And I'm going to add that to this Razor page next. Okay, so then I had a couple other questions. Timestamp, maybe time span, easier to format because of the timestamp duration being seconds. I can take seconds and convert it into anything, so it seems easier to just keep that as an int. What are DTO? A DTO is a data transfer object. Carson answered that for you. You probably saw that here. So this came from my clean architecture sample that I started with. So if you're doing ASPNET core and you're looking for a starter sample to use that's simple, you can check this out. GitHub.com /Ardalis /clean architecture. And in here, there's a simple application that does a to-do app, essentially. Like that's the only thing in there that, as far as actual code, is this to-do thing. So in here you see there's this core, and your entities consist of one to-do item, and the to-do item is a title, description, whether or not it's done, and you can mark it complete. And then there's some infrastructure that includes the data access code you need for that. And then in the web page, we convert the API to use this API model of to-do item. And to answer your question, like, can you add required and things like that? Yes, definitely. So if we look at our API, this to-do items controller, which I still have in my code because I haven't ripped it out yet, it uses a repository to do CRUD operations on here. And it will do model binding because it has this validate model attribute. And then it will check, like if something is not there that's required, it will send back an invalid thing. So looking at my code, I still have that to-do item controller here, and it says validate model. So if I try and post a to-do item DTO to this, it should give me back a 401, and we can test that if I launch my app. Well, I've only done one other session with DevBetter, Panchkov, and that was 2 weeks ago. And maybe I forgot to click the button on Twitch to push it there, but it's still in Twitch if it was 2 weeks ago, so it's still there. But I'll make sure that everything gets pushed over to YouTube today. Okay, so I usually do it right after I'm done recording, but sometimes it takes some time for Twitch to make it available. Okay, so the question on the DTO, whether or not required does what you would expect. If I come in here and I hit it with a tool like Postman, Postman is a really nice tool for testing out APIs. I think I have Swagger in here actually too, so let's try Swagger. That'll be faster. So I can go to Swagger. Swagger is a nice tool for documenting your APIs, and it's added just as some middleware inside this project. It comes out of the box with that clean architecture sample. You don't have to do anything. So now I can say, here's my post, right? Now we know, because we saw the code, that one of these things is required, like title. Right? Title's required, which in here means that if I take this model and we say we're going to try it out, here's the model, I'm going to say this title is blank. And I don't need an ID because it's going to give me one when I create, so I can get rid of that. And this is, a to-do item, pick up the milk, right? And we execute this. We are going to get a result now that says 400 bad requests, the title field is required. Okay, so that's your stuff. You've some drop. I don't know what that means. Probably that means I'm dropping packets or something. Alright, so then up here, if we add a title, get groceries, and we try it out again, execute, now it worked, and there's an ID1 record that took place. I'm lagging. Okay. I blame Twitch. I don't know. Yes, me too. It's lagging at my side. What does lagging look like? If it just looks, is it buffering, or is it? Am I sounding really slow? I haven't seen lagging on Twitch when I've been using Twitch as a consumer. I will say that my current settings on Twitch are pushing my CPU pretty hard. So maybe that's maybe I just need to update the video card. Right, like here's my current CPU settings, and this is all OBS doing this, right? So it's got, it's not pegged, it's not 100%, except for when it is. All right, probably I need to just dial back my encoding settings a little bit for streaming on this machine, because this is an older machine. So all right, thanks for letting me know. It pauses and resumes after a few seconds. That's unfortunate. Let me see if I can change anything with OBS right now while it's streaming. So I dropped the bitrate, and here's my settings. Under stream, output, this CPU one, if I change that to slow, that should make it, ironically, faster. They name it poorly. And that should drop the CPU requirements. So theoretically we should see this go down if it's doing its thing. But I don't see it dramatically changing. Still going up and down in the same range. Alright. Well, this is just telling me I just need to go buy a new computer, and so it'll give me a good excuse to upgrade my machine. Because this machine is, 5 years old, so it's pretty ancient. Alright, so we'll get rid of that. I apologize if we're still having trouble. I've tweaked settings a little bit. You saw Swagger. We talked about to-do items. We talked about DTOs. Let's get back to doing this question thing. So what I'd like to be able to do is come out here and have a top-level thing. So it'll be like home, videos, questions. So when you click on questions, it shows you a list of all the questions that have been asked. and says like which video has it and what the timestamp was on it. So that's the requirement. So when I come in here, I want to add a page, and we'll say add new Razor page. And we're just going to call it questions, and sure, we'll use Entity Framework for now, that's fine. Questions template will be a list, I guess. It's not really what I want, but, and we have a question type, and that should be good. Right, and just by itself, this should do enough, I think, that I could run this and view those two questions I just added. We'll see if that's the case. Live cam is freezing, computer screen is okay. Alright. Well, hopefully things are a little bit better now. Alright, so I just built. I'm not sure what this is going to show with its template, but we'll find out in a second. Alright, now I didn't add the link in the nav yet, but that ought to work. And I never did the database update. I know I did the database update. That's weird. Invalid object name questions. We saw it right here. Oh, question. Oh, because then I added the DB set. And it used a different convention. That's a problem. Alright. I really don't like the pluralizing convention anyway, but I need to stick with it. So let's just tell this guy that this one is going to use the question table. So I need to override on, what is it called, on model creating. And then in here I can say model builder dot entity of question dot use table dot use dot table to table question. How about that? And I'll fix that later because that's a hack. But again, on the stream I try and get stuff done quickly. So alright, so in here let's try that again. Questions. Boom. Alright, look at that. That worked. Oh, it scaffolded all that stuff. I didn't tell it to do that. I told it I just wanted the list. But that's nice. Now I could add questions here if I wanted to. Okay. Okay, that's not bad. So the one thing that's not here that I would like to have it include, maybe it's under details. Oh, that's weird. It didn't actually scaffold them out, it just added the links. That's funny. Okay, I'll bet create new also doesn't work. Right, okay. So yeah, I just have to clean up that view. So in questions, under Razor pages, for each thing, show that, show that, get rid of that. So I don't want those things, but I do want here item dot, and it should have the link to the video itself, and I don't have a key for that. I think I need to add that to the thing. So this will be archive video ID. And will it let me add that from here? No. So we'll go up to question, and we'll add public int archive video ID, like that. Okay, so then back in here, we don't want these links because I just want to list it, and I don't want this create at the moment, although I might bring that back at some point. And with that, Still, no, I killed it. Start the web again. Go to videos, videos works, go to questions, questions works, there's my video. Add a header for that. Display name 4, okay. What else did I want to do? That looks good. I need the nav. So in my layout page, where's the layout? Use shared layout. So with Razor Pages, I've got a combination here of Razor Pages in the Pages folder and regular MVC views in the Views folder. Razor Pages will look in both places. So it'll look for the layout in here, and if you don't have a Views folder and you're just doing everything pure Razor Pages, there could be a shared folder with a layout in there as well. In my case, I've got both. So there's no really good reason why I have both. It's just the template gives you both so you can pick which one you want. Alright, so there's my thing here, and this just goes to questions. Alright, now I think I want to change how this is getting its data, but we'll work on that next. Because this is good enough to say that we've passed the test for the requirement, and we're running out of time. So the thing I'd like to do, I think, maybe, is have that questions list. Where's it at? It didn't show up. That should have been there, right? Navbar. Home. Well, home isn't there either, so maybe this is not where I need it to be. So inside the navigation block, oh, right. I forgot. I'm not actually using this view. I have a static HTML page that I used instead, so that's why this isn't going to work. Alright, so where's that? That's in www-root. Right there, index. And here, where's my navigation? It's not there yet. How is that there? Archive videos. Getting a link to the home page you wouldn't think would be this hard. So it's not in the layout, right? Alright, let's look at chat. Karsten says, doesn't Bootstrap have a desktop and mobile menu, so you might have to add it in 2 places? Maybe, but but I'm not actively using this thing, at least not on the live site. On the live site, I'm using a static HTML. On this site, I can't remember if I have this set up to use the static or not. So that's what I'm trying to sort out. And then Ganesh says, was there any reason to use the core project with .NET Standard and others as core 2.2? This core project, let's look at that for a sec, since I actually know the answer to that. If we look at its source here, it is .NET Standard 2.0 because it's just classes, right? It doesn't have a dependency on any framework. And so because it can be standard, it is standard. And that means if I wanted to grab it from any other thing that can consume .NET Standard 2, it would work just fine. So later on, if I want to create a console app that sits on top of this or whatever, with .NET 3.0 coming out, there's going to be WPF and WinForms applications I could write. Those could target this as well. It wouldn't have to be an ASP.NET Core or .NET Core thing. And yeah, it's a Bootstrap's responsive UI, so it should not need me to put anything into two different menus. The trick is this network call. If I refresh this page, is this network call hitting that's not what I wanted. When I say to get me localhost, am I getting the page that is the static file, or am I getting my view? Because there's my button for that. It's gotta be the view, because I wouldn't have this login stuff if it was otherwise. So where's this videos link? That's what I'm missing. So in my, forget about the static file. In my page here, oh, I'm not using layout. That's what I did. There we go. Okay. So the thing I did that's throwing me off now is I forgot that I turned layout off, and so here's the place where it needs to go is videos right there. ASP page equals questions. Ta-da, if I could spell like that. And just like that, how easy could it be? It's going to work this time. I'm going to succeed in adding a link to a page. Whoa, look at that. Alright, so now this actually works. Cool. So what I would like is for this to be sorted by video, like descending order. So like, right here it would be like March 1st we had these questions, and then February 22nd we had these questions, right? And have a heading for each video date, and then the questions that were discussed during that video. So to do that, I probably want to do a database query to get all the videos first and then get their questions second, probably as just a join, and then display it all from there. So I'll add that to the issue, or I'll add a new issue to do that. But for now, this is pretty much done. So this is number 10. Alright, so I want to create a new branch, if I didn't already, and do a pull request against number 10 issue. So stage all that, create a branch, Ardalis questions there. Check that out, great. Let's see, add questions feature, commit, and push, and submit, and come to pull requests, and wait for it, there it is, and compare, add questions feature, fixes issue number 10, alright, create pull request, have a look at the files, that's fine, that needs to get cleaned up at some point. Probably I could just call it questions everywhere. Oh, looks good. Add a questions link to videos. Yeah, I should probably do that. That's a good point. So that you could see them. But yeah, this all looks good enough for now. So go here, squash and merge. Confirm, delete, get latest. I'm going down to the command line tool only because my other Git tool was having issues earlier, and so I've still got the window open. And while we're here, let's go add a couple issues. So we're going to add an issue, link to questions from video details. That sounds good. And let's add a description for that. This should link to the specific questions for this video. It's probably obvious anyway, but that's fine. And then update questions page to group by video. Show results by video with most recent at top of page. Video from 3/1/19. Question. Video from 2/22/19. Question, like that. Submit. Okay, so there's my backlog of more stuff to do next time. Still have to figure out what to do with video data, figure out if we're going to do show notes in Markdown, and do some Docker Azure stuff. So maybe we'll work on that stuff next week or in a couple weeks if I decide to stream something else next time. Alright, so we fixed the volume issue by using the boom mic, so I'll try and remember that, or I'll try and sort out why the other mic was quiet. And I'll work on either getting a faster video card that can do some of the rendering, or just upgrading my PC so that there's not the lagging on the stream. I did drop the size of the screen down, so I figured that would help, so it wasn't trying to scrunch down my super high resolution into a smaller frame size, but apparently it didn't totally do the trick. So let me jump on Twitch again and see who's online right now, if I can jump you all to somebody else. There's my dashboard. Who else is doing programmery stuff right now that we can raid? The laggy video happens when I work in VS. I wonder if that happens when I'm building, Karsten. Is it maybe the CPU is too busy compiling and taking away from the encoding of the video? That's probably what it is. Alright, so who's... If I go to twitch.tv and I do a... This is the part I'm not good at, is figuring out who's online right now. If I browse for a category of science, technology, and then look for somebody that's doing coding stuff that I might know, like nobody I know is online. What is this person doing? Sure, maybe. I don't know. I feel weird sending y'all to somebody I don't know, so I don't think I'm going to do that. Anybody have somebody they would recommend that they know in the chat? Right, yeah, I should see the issues when I see the rendered video on YouTube, because that'll be what you guys actually saw. Yeah, there's no other coding people online right now, so I guess we're just gonna call it done. So thank you all for being here today, and I'll see you next week. This stuff will be up on the YouTube channel shortly. Is Clark IO online? All right, let me see that. I added him as a person I follow, didn't I? Maybe not. There, now I'm following him. Alright, that'll work. We'll send you all to Clark IO. Let's do that. So, raid. That guy. Do it. Cool. Alright, so, like I said, thank you guys. I'll see you next Friday. How does he know already?